speech assistant at Therapy Playground.
And I'm Megan, and I'm also a speech assistant at Therapy Playground. And we're here to talk to you about the top 5 iPad apps that we have found to be most useful in therapy.
The first app is called Kids at Home. This app is really great for helping your toddlers and preschoolers kind of learn their way around home, be able to label objects in the home that are communicate with you on things that they may want or need that they may not now be able to tell you. It'll kind of give them some practice on pointing to things, labeling them, and finding the correct wording.
And there's lots of different rooms. Like there's every room in the house. There's kitchen, bedroom, living room. Most useful to parents to get them to have the language better at home.
I'm going to select the kitchen. The kitchen is really good because this is a place that your child's always maybe sitting there, fussing, screaming and crying because you can't figure out what it is they want. They may want juice and you're giving them milk, or they may want a cookie and you're trying to give them something healthy like an apple. This will kind of help them go through and pick out things in the kitchen, different food items and utensils, electronics, things that they may not know the name for, and you may not have out on the counter every day that they can quickly point to you. So these will kind of help you go through and be able to pick things out and learn the correct name for them. So I'm going to tap on the refrigerator.
It's one of the most functional for the home for parental use.
And you'll see this kind of gives some common choices. Of course, milk. And it'll kind of give them the name for it. At that point, they don't have to go, right back to the refrigerator. They can just point to the arrow. And it'll go through and name various types of food and things that you may find in a refrigerator.
This will help for receptive. You can ask them to point, and because it says it through the iPad, it can be for expressive, tells them what it's called, versus just pointing to. You can also work on labeling and just getting them to say the word out loud.
This can also help with potty training, teaching them a little bit about the bathroom. You'll see here that you do have to get the full version to be able to use the bathroom, but if you didn't want to buy the full version, that's when you can do the things like Megan was saying, and just tell them to point for you. Just say, show mommy the sink, show mommy the bathtub. You can ask them questions such as, where do we wash our hands? Where do we take a bath? What do we do in the bathroom? That kind of thing. So this is just a really good app that can start out toddler age and can go on up through elementary as far as pre-K. Asking different types of questions. You can give them scenarios.
It's good for really young. And it can go all the way up as far as wherever they are.
Mm-hmm. You can also teach them categories. There's different categories of things in the kitchen, such as things that may, like just food items, different things we used to cook with, that kind of thing. So this is our first app.
Animal wheel.
The animal wheel is something really good for your very young children.
When you're just trying to get them to start vocalizing at all. Any kind of consonant, M, B, ba, moo for animal sounds, or any kind of vocalization that you're not sure how to elicit early sounds. This is really easy. They can shake it versus pointing or using any kind of...
They just shake the iPad and it'll kind of turn.
Horse.
It'll tell them the name of the animal. So, in the beginning, you're going to want to look for them starting to imitate sounds. And then, as they've started imitating the sounds, then you're going to want to teach them what the animal is. Them being able to point to the animal. Like you say, well, show mommy the cat. Point to the cat.
Cat.
And then once it gets to a certain one, after they've learned to receptively learn the animal, knowing what animal's what, then you want them to be able to tell you the name of the animal. And this is, It's not an elaborate application, but it does help.
And even if they're behavioral, like
Mm-hmm.
you can shake it because that's fun. You can shake it after you imitate.
Mhm.
That always works.
The next app is for children beginning at age 3. It's called the Articulation Station. This application is great for children who make specific sound errors. Something we find a lot in speech therapy. It's not the easiest thing for children to learn how to make certain sounds, and this kind of gives them a fun way to start learning, a particular sound that they may be having troubles with. And it also, it starts out that you learn the sound in words, then you learn them in sentences, and then you go to story.
Which is something good for even parents to know
Yes.
because
It also starts out with when you're working in the sound in isolation by itself. First, you can choose flashcards. You're going to select where the position of the sound in the word, and that just means like initial means that the P sound would be in the beginning of the word, medial means it's going to be in the middle, and then of course final was at the end. So here's pony. Or just tell them how to say it. You can kind of, give them the check if they said it right. If you do not hear them correctly, you can do the X.
and you can ask the kid as
Mhm.
like to hit the one they do more, and that's more like they want to do that. They want to hit that green more than the
Mhm.
X, so it's more rewarding
Mhm.
for them too. So
You can also record how you would have said the word so that they can kind of hear themselves and how they said it, and let them kind of find their own sound error. You can also add the child's name in there, so if you have more than one child, you can say, okay, well, this is Megan's and this is Samantha's, and right now we're working with Megan, so we want to save all her material so that kind of she can get the reward of
and you can do
knowing how far
yourself.
she's come.
Like a parent could put
Mhm.
their name in there and try and just
Make it a
for
game.
competition reasons.
Mhm.
Yeah, they wanted to.
So that's the articulation station. The words, sentences, and stories, basically what you want your child to do is when they first start learning to correct sound errors, they're going to really be focusing when they're saying it in just one word. And then when you move on to, okay, we're going to put that word into a sentence, they're not really paying as much attention to that
And it
one
totally
word.
changes.
And it
You would
totally
think
changes.
it totally changes, but it totally changes once you go from even the isolated sound, just
Mhm.
saying pa, 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 to putting it in a word
Mhm.
or a sentence in conversation. It totally changes.
So this app is great because it will take you all the way to the story level so that, they're getting, all the way until they should have that sound totally mastered, should not be making any more errors.
And with this, they see because kids are so level oriented right now. They're on words. They want to go to the next level. They want to go to the next level. So they're going to want to leave this word level and go to this next one, and then go to this next one. And they won't consciously know that they are trying to do good for your speech reason that you want as a parent or as a therapist to make them better. But they are going to want to skip levels, and it is just beneficial around the board.
Okay, another one that is really good that we find, starting very young preschool age all the way, depending on the child and their cognitive level, up through elementary and even, higher than that sometimes, is children have a very difficult time answering questions. WH questions such as what, who, why, when, where.
Whether it be if they know the answer or if they know the context of what you're asking.
Mhm.
Like, when do we use an umbrella versus what do we use it for? Like,
And a lot of kids, you'll notice that if you don't know that your child has a problem answering WH questions, that they might say, they're going to repeat part of the question to you versus answering it a lot of times. This particular set of cards that we have on here right now are school specific, so it's going to be teaching them a lot of questions that they may come across in the school, things that they're going to need to know every day to get through their school day. things that they maybe their classmates ask them, their teachers ask them, that kind of thing.
But the app does include a
Yes.
variety of all age, all
There's
any
all
kind of-
different types of categories that the
It's got
question
when,
may
what,
be in.
where, why, all age appropriate. We're just showing you this one.
Okay, like, what time does your school day end?
What time does your school day end?
And then they're going to answer.
And with the iPad, you can make this more fun versus more tutorial-like. You
Mhm.
can, if they want to do something, answer these 5 questions, and they're more likely to want to interact with you like this versus you act like it's a.
And it's better than like us sitting here with a pencil and paper, or just sitting here with a flashcard. Kids love electronics, no matter pretty much what it's given them in feedback. They just like electronics. You can also do like, okay, well, if we can get through this, if you can help, if you can work with us today, we'll get through 10 of these questions. Work your best, try your hardest, and then, we'll do this later. Then you can have 10 minutes of free play on the iPad where they can just go and play their favorite game. So you can basically just kind of help keep track of how many they got right and how many they got wrong, so that they can see the end result. Okay, and then our last app is just basically showing some actions. This again can start at preschool age and go on up, through school age. It becomes more of when your child's starting to learn verbs in school. In the preschool years, you just want them to be able to perform an action more. Like if you say jump, they want to jump. If they see someone, jumping, you want them to be able to tell you, oh, they're jumping.
And that broadens it too, to say the action as far as jump, run, adding the ing. So that's good. That'll be functional for lots of ages.
Well done.
Okay, so what this one's doing is
Brushing.
You point
brushing.
to it.
So it's asking, it's kind of telling, which one is brushing. This is good because it gives them a choice of 4.
Versus if you get it wrong, would they have playing?
I don't know what it's saying.
She said playing.
Okay.
Wrong.
See,
Who
so
wants
it doesn't, they want to get that check, the check mark, and then of course you're going to kind of go along with that check mark, and once you see it, give more praise, clap your hands, jump up and down, yay!
And the pictures on here are so much more realistic
Mhm.
than flashcards or anything else you would do.
You're great.
And it says you're great.
And these are just, some of the 5 apps that we've kind of come across that we use great in therapy, but can also be used in the home to kind of help parents, carry over therapy. A lot of children only get speech therapy for 30 minutes once a week, sometimes less, sometimes more.
And a lot of these, even if you don't have an iPad, you could go on the internet anywhere and I'm sure download something
Mhm.
close in comparison.
Mhm. And I'm sure there's probably, out there in some other, like the Droid Market and things like that, I'm sure there's kind of comparable apps. Maybe not the same, maybe not the same ones, but, something along the same lines. Okay. And those are the 5 apps that we've discovered that work well with us and can carry over into the home. For more information, go to our website, www.therapyplayground.com.
Thanks.